Hey there friends, just wanted to hop on for a few minutes and share the lovely flush of blooms that I have harvested off of the blue butterfly pea flower. Now it's got a kind of a purplish tint in this photo, but it's just after sunset, so the lighting is not the greatest. I'll take them inside and show them to you in some better light, but you can see the color a little bit better on some of these. I like to check if the buds are firm. Like this one, you can see has some good moisture to it, and this one is more shriveled. These I can pull right out of that green base, and sometimes if they've already been pollinated, then a pod will form. I've not gotten any pods yet this season off of these plants, but I got quite a few last year. So whenever I'm looking at the blooms to harvest, obviously these small ones haven't bloomed and opened yet. These couple of nice firm ones should be opening up tomorrow. This one probably just opened today. It's a little bit damaged perhaps, but the ones that have been open for at least a full day, you can see it's a much more relaxed bunch of petals. And what I'm going to do, since I got so many of these fresh buds today, instead of separating all the petals out and drying them and ending up with very purple fingertips, I'm going to make a concentrated infusion of the tea, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. I got all of the flower petals separated from the base green stem part of it, and I tried to pull it in such a way that the pollen segment stays with the top of that little pod. And if I lose a little bit of the inner petals, especially if it's the less colorful ones, then I don't worry about that. Just toss it all right into my compost. But rinsing this in the salad spinner, you can see the color of that water. Now I could technically have used this water, but this was what I was washing the plants in. I do grow them with no pesticides, so there is not really any concern of it being harmful, and yet it's obviously got some floaty bits in there, so I don't really want to consume that. So I will discard this water, maybe pour it onto another plant. I like to rinse my herbs and flowers that I'm planning to either dry or make an infusion using a salad spinner, and then I can drain it out and dry them if I'm going to be dehydrating them. But in this case, I just needed to give it a quick rinse, and I'm going to be trying to fit most of it into this IKEA bottle, but it's not really labeled with the capacity that it has. I think that might be, I don't know, half a cup or so. It's not all going to fit, but that's okay. So I have boiled my tea kettle to 180 degrees, less than boiling, which is the recommended temperature for green tea or white tea, and a little bit more than what would be typical for a delicate blend. But I want this to over extract a little bit, so I really want to try to get as much of that essence out of those flowers as possible. Pause that just long enough to get a utensil to stir it around with, and you can see already how much color is coming out of these petals. Now, the utensil I grabbed specifically is very dark, because this color is like ink. It will stain, and if there's not any sugar or acid added to it, then it won't like permanently stain too badly. But if it gets on your fingers or anything, definitely can leave a blue after reminder, and if you use a dark utensil, you'll never know. I'm going to let this steep for a couple of minutes until it starts to cool off, just to continue getting as much as possible of that goodness out of every last petal. This has been steeping about another 2 or 3 minutes, and I've just been stirring it and lightly smashing the petals. This tool is like a mashing tool anyway, and so you can see how the petals are looking a lot more green, and even the blue sections of them are getting very pale. So most of that extract has already been transferred into the water. And I want to show you the fun part. So I'm going to take just a little bit of this concentrate and just look at that deep inky blue color. And I have a couple of glasses here. I'm going to pour some of this into plain water, and you'll see the gorgeous color that we get. And it really doesn't take a whole lot to make a good strong herbal tea. It's a little bit like a hibiscus tea if you've had an infusion made from hibiscus. So this front cup is actually a seltzer water that has citric acid added to it. So it's a lemon flavor, but it's not a really strong flavor. So I just want to show you the difference in the color here. And you can see that nice purple color. I decided to grab one more cup because I want to be able to see all of them at the same time when we're done. So this is about the same size of cup, pardon my toes, sorry about that. About the same size of cup. Should get maybe just a little bit more. Trying to get those front and back colors to match really well. And then I'm going to add excuse me one second. Okay, had to grab it out of the pantry. Going to add a crystallized lemon product. And this product is obviously going to be very high in that citric acid content. So I'm going to add a pretty good amount of it here. And you can see the color is starting to react. Give it just a little bit more here. Give it a little stir. Oh, there we go. So now that has gotten a nice good pink to it. Purple so far. I'm going to add a little bit more, maybe a lot more. So I really want to show you how much reaction you can get out of this tea. It makes a fun science experiment. Our local schools are starting up next week. So I offered some of these to one of the science teachers in the area to see if they want to play with this acid reactive plant. So there you go. We've got one, just the tea infusion in regular water. We've got one in a little bit of citric acid, and one with a whole lot of citric acid. And of course it changes the pH by adding acid, and that is what creates this color change. Now this one's going to taste rather tangy, kind of like almost a lavender lemonade, but not as strong as a lavender flavor. This one is a cool effect with the carbonated water. Sort of went flat by adding the tea infusion, but it's got a really bright flavor to it. And then that one, really it's halfway between what I would say a light green tea and a hibiscus kind of tea. So there we go, blue butterfly pea flower, herbal infusion, or science project. You decide. Hope you all have a chance to enjoy your gardens today. See you next time.